there, my name is Mackenzie, welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for being here. Today we are doing a reading vlog. I am doing another one of my finish that series / reading a trilogy type reading vlogs. I've kind of done similar ones in the past. I'll link those up in the cards if you're interested. I'm finishing the Daevabad trilogy, you guys. I have most recently just finished City of Brass, and it was amazing. I was on the edge of my seat like the whole time. It was so unexpected and so very good, and I just love it so much. And I'm about to start Kingdom of Copper, and I have Empire of Gold, and I'm very excited about these. And I was just remembering the last time that I was very excited about the first in a trilogy, and then I read it and I hated the ending. That happened with the Poppy War, that happened with Discovery of Witches, and it is the main reason why I took such a long break from BookTube in 2020 into 2021, and I'm just nervous, you guys. So these are big bitches, okay? I'm about to start reading Kingdom of Copper, and I wanted you guys to be along for this ride because quite honestly, with my track record of trilogies lately, like, I haven't loved them. I loved the last series I read, which was the Graceling series, but, like, that was a 4-book. And trilogies, me and them, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever get along again. Hopefully, we will get along again. So, if you don't know what the Daevabad trilogy is about, the Daevabad trilogy is about a young woman. Her name is Nahiri. And she is an ordinary citizen in Cairo. She has some sort of like healing abilities, and she kind of uses it to like steal from people. I don't know. She's like a thief, and she's trying to make ends meet. She has no family, no one looking out for her, so she's just trying to survive. And she accidentally summons a jinn or a deva. And they go on this, like, adventure. She gets put into this world of, is it this world? It's more of, like, a city. They go to the city of Daevabad, and she learns all about Jinn and Deva and these elementals, and it's very interesting. It's super amazing. I really enjoyed the first book. I don't remember what I rated it, but I rated it very high. Dara keeps breaking my heart, you guys. So, mainly I'm doing this reading vlog because when I was reading the first book, I had so many feelings and I couldn't talk to anybody about them. And I know I'm going to have a lot of feelings about this one because so much has happened in the first book, you guys, and I'm not over it. I'm not over it. It's not okay. It's not okay. Okay. So officially, from this point forward, spoiler warning, I'm reading the second and the third books in a trilogy, so if you haven't read the first book, then you will definitely not know what I'm talking about, and if you haven't read the second or third book, I'm going to be spoiling it for you in depth. I'm going to be talking about my theories, I'm going to be talking about my feelings. It's probably going to be a long video, so go grab a drink and maybe a snack and, you know, tuck in. We're going to be here for a minute. So at the end of the first book, Dara died, and, like, that's not okay. What am I supposed to do with that? It was bad enough, right, that he was stealing Neri away, like, against her will, and she's like, that's fine, like, you know, you're not gonna love me, whatever, but I'm gonna keep you safe, and then he died, and, like, maybe that is probably the best thing that could have happened, because if he would have just kidnapped her, then maybe Nari would have, like, really not loved him ever again, but now that he died, I know he's gonna come back because I read that little bit in the first, like, at the end of the first book, there's like an epilogue or an afterwards or whatever, and it's between, oh my god, what are their names? It's between, I'm freaking out, you guys. It's between the nurse and the, what's his name? Cartier and Nisreen, okay? Nisreen and Cartier were talking about how they still have Dara's ring, and we know from the first book because Muntadhir told Alizad that they still had Dara's, like, slave thing, and so when you unite the slave thing and Dara's ring together, it'll bring Dara back to life. So I know he's coming back. And I'm not upset about it because they laid it out in a magical system that this is something that could happen because they were slaves, and that's how they turned into slaves in the first place, was that they were killed, but you can bring them back by bringing them out of slavery. How it works like that, I'm not sure, but I'm accepting it because Dara's gonna come back. Okay, so I know that Nahiri is here. The king, like, commanded her to, like, give this whole speech about how Dara was bad, but, like, the rest of the Deva accepted that, like, she's having to do this to save herself. So she's engaged to Muntadhir, which is the crown prince, and Muntadhir hates her. I think I'm saying his name right? Gosh, I hope so. So that's where she is. And then we're also following the perspective of Ali, who has been cast out of the Jinn city by his father for, like, being a betrayer. And yeah, he's gonna go to, like, the human realm, and more than likely he's going to be killed. So we're very excited. Not excited for him to be killed because he's a good he's an alright character. I like him more than I thought I would. And man, I'm really enjoying these books. Or I read the first book, so I really enjoyed the first book because it felt like there was so much that was going on. And, like, because these characters live for so long, they, like, what happened in the past isn't necessarily, like, so past for them. It was still part of their lifetimes. So everything is so layered and dramatic, and everyone's kind of a bad person, but I'm loving it anyway. Okay, so I'm going to start reading Kingdom of Copper today, hopefully, after I finish up the filming I want to do. And yeah, you guys, this is probably going to take me all of November to finish, so I don't know when you guys are seeing this video, but I'll let you know that it is October 23rd when I'm filming the intro. Haven't read any of these books yet. I'm hoping to do so, but you know how I like to pile on a bunch of things at the same time, so I'll see you when I see you. I used to do check-ins at like 50 and 100 pages or something, but I feel like I'll just check in with you when, like, I get emotional. I feel like that's better. Hi, we're doing an update. I have read 73 pages. I'm losing my mind, you guys. This series is such an emotional roller coaster. It's very hard for me to read it, okay? So the prologue gave me hope. The prologue immediately dispelled my theory that I had ending in the first book. Because at the first book, it made me feel like Nari was her mom somehow. That was what I thought and what I thought the book was telling me, but apparently not. In the prologue, we got a point of view from Ali and Nari and Dara. Okay. But I thought that was going to be a one-time thing because the prologue. But no, I had to stop last night because I couldn't handle an actual chapter point of view from Dara's perspective. I'm too emotional, you guys. Okay. It's so depressing. This book is so depressing. All of this is depressing. Like, it's just people surviving and nobody's happy and I don't like it. I hate it, in fact. I love it. It's great. It's like, it makes my heart, it's so much yearning, and Nari, it's been 5 years, so the prologue happens, and then it's 5 years later. Like, that is a huge time jump, and I really wasn't, I'm never emotionally ready for what's happening in these books. In this book, this series, it's, because the first book did it to me too. Like, it took me forever to read it because, like, the emotional turbulence I was going through and nobody was happy at all ever. And it was very sad. I'm very sad. And, like, so it's been 5 years and Nari doesn't know that Dara is alive and Dara can't get back to Daevabad because the Suleiman's curse is off of him now. And, like, and now that he's been released from Suleiman's curse, he looks weird now, and it's like, no, he looks like a monster now, and like, no. Prologue told us that he has been following Miniza, which is Nari's mother, I'm butchering these names. I'm trying. I'm listening to the audiobook and I'm still not gathering like the pronunciation very well. I'm trying. But he has been with Nari's mother trying to save Daevabad and Nari, but I don't know. It's sad and like it feels hopeless. And I just want it to end okay. Like, I need it to end okay. Because the Poppy War was very similar. Like, it felt hopeless the whole time. And hey, guess what? It ended hopeless too. Spoiler alert. Like, it was not satisfactory at all. So, like, I can only take so much pain without you giving me a good ending, okay? And, like, make it happen. I will just check back in with you guys after before I get emotional, after I get emotional again, and before I read on. All right, you guys, update time. I have just not finished, but I'm like over halfway through, and it's popping off, okay? First of all, hot take. This book is doing grimdark much better than the Poppy War, because at least I'm conflicted. Poppy War made me feel like there was a definitive good guy and bad guy, and it really just didn't matter. And here, I'm conflicted. I don't know if I've said this before in a different video, but this trilogy really feels like there's multiple bad guys and like not really many good guys, and then like the good people just get caught up in like in the bad stuff that's happening. It's really bad. Like, it's so sad. Okay, so first things first, I pretty much guessed that Jamshid was Manaiza's son as well. At the beginning, like in book 1, when they said that Jamshed's mother died, I said in my head, how funny would it be if he was Manaiza's child? And then we get in this book that Kaveh, we get that Kaveh and Manaiza are lovers. It made it much more obvious that Manaiza was definitely Jamshed's mother, and that Kaveh was obviously also going to be Nehri's father. There was that. So I was just waiting. I don't think the reader was supposed to be left in the dark about Jamshed and Nahri's parenthood by book 2, but the way they revealed it, Manaiza reveals it to Dara in an instance where Dara is questioning her authority and her, not her loyalty, but like her methods, because she's about to pull like a genocide of another tribe of Jin just because they've hurt her tribe. And it's like, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. And Dara's trying to tell her that, and Manaiza was like, you know what? You don't have a right to say anything because you shot my son full of arrows. And so, like, she totally manipulates him into obeying her again, even though, like, ever since she's brought him back, she's given him a form he doesn't want, expected him to act as a weapon and not really treated him as a person, not let him back to Nari at all, and has made him kill innocent people. It's really sad because there's a moment where the Ifrit, the bad Deva, are talking to Dara and are like, you're the fool. You're the one who's still following people who have hurt you and who kind of use you as a scapegoat. And it's so sad. It's so sad and depressing. So there's that end of the story. Then there's the other end of the story where Nahri is trying to rebuild the hospital in time for the holiday. I forget what they call it. But she's trying to rebuild the hospital in time for the holiday, and the holiday is when Dara and Manaiza are planning to retake the city, not only by literally destroying it, but also come to find out in this last chapter, Manaisa's planning a genocide. And like, at first she was just trying to kill Ghassan and his family, but she ran out of time to perfect her experiment, so it doesn't just like dissipate. This smoke continues on, and it will just get stronger and stronger until it kills all of the Gaziri in Daevabad. And like, I feel like there are 3 good people in this book, and that's it. And it's Dara, Nahri, and Ali. And like, that's it. Everyone else is so horrible. Like, Ghassan and his family are awful. There's not a moment. There was a definitive moment where his sister, Ali's sister, is like psychotic. Like, she's about to break down to her brother about how hard it is that all of her family is like mistreating each other, and she's the only one on speaking terms with everybody. And she just shuts it down, closes it off, pretends everything's fine. And it's like, you are not somebody I can sympathize with. You're not a character that I frankly care about. Not to mention, she like is consistently awful. Like, there's not many, like, the characters are complex and deep, but I don't have a lot of sympathy for many of them. And it's just really sad. It's really sad, and everything is complicated, and there's so much innocent death, and there's slavery now in this book, and like, I'm getting worried. I'm halfway through this book. I don't know what the ending is going to look like. I think I know what the ending of this book might look like, but I don't know what Empire of Gold is going to look like, and I am nervous. I'm worried that the ending is going to get like as bad and as hopeless as the Poppy War series was, which was really depressing. And like, it's fine. Like, Grimdark is fine. This series is fine as it is, as long as the ending is somewhat hopeful, and it doesn't feel like people are just going to be continuing this cycle of death and oppression. Because that's what the Poppy War series felt like, and it really almost turned me off completely of grimdark fantasy at all, because like, what's the point? If I want to be depressed about the cycle of oppression, I'll just watch the news. I don't want to read about it in my nice, awesome fantasy where the good guys are supposed to win, okay? The good guys are supposed to win. It's at least supposed to be hopeful. You're supposed to tell me how to get rid, not to get rid, but how to deal with reality. Poppy War let me down, and I really don't want this to let me down. And I'm on page 324 of 609, and I don't know what to do with my life. I want Dara and Nahri to be together, and I'm tired of them not being together, but the pining, oh my god. It's so good. And Nahri doesn't even know that Dara's alive anymore. But she's still, like, talks about him and misses him. And it's like, I feel bad for Nahri because, like, every single person that she's let close to her has betrayed her. And it sucks. And I know how she feels. But she's such a strong character, and to see her character change from book 1 to book 2 was really awesome. And I'm noticing a lot more now. Her and Dara are learning not only just from each other but their own experiences and the history of their people, and trying to make the best choices. And that's why Dara goes to Manaisa in the beginning and is like, hey, you made me the scourge of Kwaizi. You really think that building your kingdom on the deaths of an entire population of Jinn, you not think that history is going to look back on you and think of you as just as bad as me? And it's sad and it's awful. And Dara even says this point because he's like, because it's going to blow back up in your face, and I'm going to be brought back to life to have to deal with it, because I'm probably going to die in this war right now that you're going to send me off to. Like, it's sad as fuck. And I don't even know how it gets better from here. It's kind of awesome because it reminds me a lot of reality. Like we can't ignore what happened in our in real life history because it just keeps coming back and circling and like, but we're not getting any better either. And it feels like the same. Like things are a little bit better, but it's still awful for a lot of people and there's oppression and nobody wants to work together. It's rough. It's rough, buddy. Okay. That's all I have to say. Here I am. This is what I have left over here. Like a little bit less than 300 pages, and I want to cry. I don't want to read it. I just want to cry. I want to know what happens, but I want to read it. Like, it's so good. The writing is so good, and the storytelling is amazing. And it's kind of like really sad and sweet that a lot of these people feel like betrayed by other people because like they're reminded of home, you know? Like Nahri allows herself to befriend Ollie because like of their shared language and the fact that he knows a lot about her home in the human world in Cairo, and she feels so utterly betrayed by him because, you know, she felt like he was part of her home. And then Dara, the same way, there's a prisoner that he has who speaks Divinasti. And so he felt like a kindred spirit because they were both old soldiers, and he feels betrayed by him when he tries to escape. And he's like, you would have done the same thing. And it's like, it's so sad that all of these people don't realize how similar they really are if they could get rid of like the politics and just stop killing each other. Like, all it takes really is one group to take over peacefully and stop killing each other and give. And like, that's what Nahri's trying to do. And I'm really worried because Dara is gonna come in and him and Manaiza are gonna ruin everything. Like, Nahri is really close, and I feel like if they would have let her, if Manaiza and Dara would have supported her instead of trying to start a war, then I feel like things would have been a little bit better. But they didn't. They're not supporting her. They don't even tell her that they're both still alive and planning this. And Manaiza is using it under the guise of she'll be innocent if she's ignorant. But really, that's not the case. We all know Ghassan, the king, and he's cruel and evil. And he would kill Nahri just because of her mother's actions. He's killed other Deva children because of Nahri's actions. What makes you think that he wouldn't kill Nahri because of Manaiza's actions? Like, a lot of Manaiza's thought process for not cluing Nahri in it's flawed, and it's supposed to be flawed because we're supposed to know that Nahri, from the first book, we know that Nahri likes to be informed, and she's tired of people keeping secrets from her because she's making decisions based on her misinformation. And it's blowing back up in her face, and it sucks. And, like, it's not her fault because no one's informing her, but it's just continuing. Like, now she's at least making, good decisions, but it's just gonna blow back up in her face again because Manaiza and Dara are starting a war. I don't want it to be over, but I need the bad stuff to be over. You know, like the fighting. I need Dara to be back with Nahri, okay? I just need it. Alright, that's the update. I'm gonna leave you before I start rambling again, because I'm totally gonna start rambling again. But I'll see you in a little bit when I get emotional again. And yeah. I hate this. I hate Manaiza. She sucks. This brutal act might be enough to force the other tribes into a more permanent submission. That's not the point. To live peacefully, no one should be in submission. I finished Kingdom of Copper. Um, you guys, like, the whole vibe of this, all of these books now are just me going, Dara, no, and S.A. Chakraborty going, Dara, yes. Daddy, no!
Daddy, yes!
And, like, I can't. Okay. It's so good. It's really good. Manaiza's a bitch. I can't. Oh my god, I freaking hate her. Like, she's ruined Dara. Like, he's not ruined, but, like, she manipulated him, and that freaking blows. And, like, I'm so angry with all of these characters. I'm so glad Ghassan is dead. I need Manaiza to be dead, and I need everyone to be happy again, okay? That's what I need. I didn't say it last check-in, and I've been thinking about it ever since, but there seems to be not like a love triangle, but like something strange, because Nahri has this like love and care and affection, but also feels betrayed by not only Dara but Alizade as well. And it's interesting because she wants both of these relationships back, and she's trying to make them work, and like she doesn't want to be hurt again. And I feel for her. But Ali and Dara don't feel like they're really competing with each other. It just really feels like they're trying to make up for their own sins and get back into Nahri's good graces, which is nice because I'm not really a fan of love triangles. But it really does feel like that Nahri could have both of these men in her life so long as they actually apologize and are nicer to her. Not even nicer to her, but like they stop being manipulated by people, because truly it's the manipulation by other people that has caused both Ali and Dara to like hurt Nahri, and it sucks and it blows. I did do like a face cam of me reading the last 100 pages, so you saw a little bit of my reactions there. It kind of sucks where it ends, because it's like, I do not like that Nahri gave what's his face the ring. I don't like it, Ollie. I understand her reasoning behind it because she wants to go back to Cairo, but like at the end of this book, her and Ollie are in Cairo. So not only is it proven that she can leave Daevabad without the ring, it also seems like leaving Daevabad with the ring, not like leaving the ring at Daevabad, but taking the ring out of Daevabad is like the one way that we're going to be able to solve Daevabad's problems. Because like Daevabad, and it's I love how this book feels like real life history. Like there's so much cruel, horrible things in human history that we can't escape, that we need to just like at some point you just have to start doing better and hope that it's making up for the past. And that's what it feels like in this, that like Daevabad and all of these Jinn and Devas have such gory, horrible, violent history that they'll never be able to escape. And the only way to make this good and hopeful is for people to choose now, in this moment, to start being better. And it sucks and it blows because that's hard, and it's hard to do that in real life, and it's hard to just be better when you've sucked and you know your past will never change, and that sucks. But this is so good. And like, I'm so nervous. Book 3 is going to be awful, you guys. What do I want to happen? Let's not make predictions. Let's tell you what I want to happen, okay? Because where we ended with Manaiza basically saying she should have assumed that her daughter was going to betray her. Like, when you don't tell your daughter all of your plans and you expect her to just follow them out of nowhere, like, that doesn't logically make sense. It just doesn't logically make sense. And Manaiza is a conniving little biatch. A biatch. And also, is Nahri a Shafit or is she not? Because at the end of this book, Manaiza is like, you're a Shafit, and that's why you won't be able to wield Suleiman's seal. And, like, first of all, that doesn't make sense because Suleiman was also human. So human blood should be able to wield the symbol of the seal of Suleiman. However, Manaiza's like, you're a Shafit, and like that doesn't make sense because she also said that Nahri was kidnapped by the Marid and a curse was put on her, and that's why she looks human. Not because she has a Shafit father or a human father. So Manaiza's lying and conniving, and I don't know what to trust about her. I was almost ready for what's-his-face to die, Muntadir, because, like, I don't care about him. I care about him in the sense that I cared about Achilles, because Patroclus loves them. And because Jamshid loves Muntadir, I don't want Jamshid to be unhappy or sad. So I want him to have Muntadir. But Muntadir sucks all the dick, and I hate him. Manaiza is powerless because, I believe it's because Alizaid and Nahri left, somehow they left Daevabad. They fell into the lake, which is supposed to have been cursed. It's no longer cursed, and after they fell into the lake, it washed them up in Cairo. So now they're in Cairo, and it seems because Suleiman's seal is not in Daevabad, all the magic in Daevabad is gone. Like, the Zulfikar poison doesn't work. Manaiza's magic doesn't work. So there's no more magic in Daevabad, but I think that's going to be a good thing. What I'd like to see happen is I would like for Dara to, like, denounce Manaiza as, like, an awful Nahid, and for him to start following Nahri, because Nahri and Alizaid, I think, are going to be, like, co-leaders. I feel like that would be great. I want them to come back to Daevabad. I want them to clean house. I want them to rule as, like, co-leaders or part of, like, a council. I need Nahri to be with Dara. I need it to happen. I can't handle this life anymore without them being together. Okay? So those are my two things that I really want to happen. I want Nahri and Alizaid to lead as co-leaders. I need Nahri and Dara to be back together. Are we still getting Dara points of view? Hell yeah, we are. Because he is... like, they've always been three main characters in this, but I feel like in book one we didn't get Dara's point of view because he was almost consistently with Nahri. So, like, we didn't need to see what he was doing, but I love that we're getting his inner thoughts as well, because that is so needed. I love it. I love seeing that he is just he's so disappointed in himself. He's been trying to do good and following the Nahids, and every time he does, he's just doing something awful, and it sucks and it blows, and I need him to... Because the Deva love him so much, I need him to really, like, take up a place of power amongst them. Not, like, power away from the Nahids, but, like, a powerful voice and opinion, especially as someone who serves the Nahids so closely. Like, they did a lot bad and a lot wrong, and it sucks. But I love Dara, and I need him to come back to Nahri right now. Alright, so that's the update. I'll get back to you once I get emotional. I'm so sad, you guys. What if this doesn't end well? Okay, I'm in bed, and we're doing an update because it's like 9:30, and I want to read more, but I have to do an update because I'm on part 2. And Manaiza's a bitch, and I hate her. I need her to die. She's the reason everything is going off the rails, and it's very sad. And, like, now I'm starting to feel like there is a love triangle, and, like, I don't know about that. And I also feel like there's going to be a happy ending for everyone, except for Dara. And where's Dara's happy ending? I can't. I'm gonna have to just keep reading and who knows? I don't know what's coming. Part 2 is the biggest chunk, so I expect to check in with you again before we finish it, because like part 3 and 4 just look like the climax and conclusion. And that's really all I have to say. Manaiza's awful, and like Dara knows she's awful now, so I hope that he's going to like break away from her, but I don't know where his happy ending is coming from. All right. Sorry for this very impromptu check-in. I'm going to start reading now. I, first of all, am sorry about the audio quality from last check-in. I didn't read much last night, probably like 50 pages. But I wanted to check in with you guys because I remember saying last night that I don't feel like there's a happy ending at all planned for Dara, and we just passed his point of view chapter, and I feel like there is potential for his happily ever after. I just still need it to be with Nahri, and also I'm not liking how much it feels like Nahri is falling in love with Ali, but we're slowly making our way through. I'm on page 256. I still have this much left to go. I enjoy where the plot is going. I just don't enjoy that my babies are being hurt. So we officially learned, I believe, as long as it doesn't go back on its word again, but Nahri is Shafit, half human, half Deva. I thought potentially that her father was going to be Rustam, and because Manaiza doesn't really treat her like a daughter, like someone she cares about. She much more cares about Jamshid, so I kind of thought maybe that Nahri was Rustam's daughter, but it seems like that's not the case. It seems like Manaiza is just like an awful mom and is sacrificing her daughter to the Ifrit. Yeah, and then her real father is a human person, and her father is the reason that the Marid put a curse on her to protect her. How come I feel like every time I read like a fantasy, the mom characters, if it's a mom and a daughter, the mom character is always like abusive and horrible, awful, not kind. I feel like a lot of us have mommy issues, and like, not like I don't, but it does kind of blow to not have like a single nice, kind mom character. But whatever, such is life. And I am liking this series a lot more than the Poppy War. And as long as this ends in somewhat of a hopeful way, this will be much better than the Poppy War trilogy. So we'll just see. And I'll check in with you guys later. Oh my god. I just finished Dara's chapter 31. Holy shit. Like, I didn't think that this could get worse. Or not worse. Darker? This is so horrible. I mean, it's great. It's great storytelling. But it's, devastating, and oh my god, did things pick up. This is not good, you guys. Manaiza is literally losing her mind. She's joined forces with the Ifrit. Well, that happened a while ago, but also she's killing the Deva now, and like the Marid. I'm loving how much of a important role they're playing now. But oh my god, I can't. How come I get so excited for Dara's chapters, but every time I read them, they're depressing and horrible, and I love it, but I'm sad and depressed. And I still have like half the book to go. You guys, I finished. I finished The Empire of Gold, which means I have officially finished the Daevabad trilogy. Let me just be really honest with you guys. I finished this book and I cried. And and it's been 2 days. I couldn't sit down to talk to you guys about this because I don't it's not okay, but it's okay. It's not. I don't know if I told you my rating for Kingdom of Copper, 5 stars, and 5 stars. 5 stars. I can't imagine it ending any other way. The plot was intense. It was dark. It sucked. It was real. It was horrible. I'm just gonna sit here and cry. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to say anything else about the plot or what happens because I think everybody needs to read it. it's grimdark. It's not fun. It's very sad, and it's like it's hopeful at the end, but like not a lot of my characters are having the hopeful part. Like no one is where I want them to be at the end of it. But it still feels like this is the best case scenario and the most realistic scenario. And like this book is 750 pages, and this one is like 606, not 620. It's like 600, 750. And I'm so glad that it was, because I was devouring this in chunks, like 100, 150 page like sessions of reading. It was so good. It was sad and depressing, and it I will say that I am a little upset that we didn't get a lot of the Marid before this book. Like, we got mentions of it everywhere else, but like all of a sudden the Marid are like a huge part in the story, and it's like, it's fine, I'm okay with that, but I just wish we had more time to develop this. But honestly, it felt like we were on a time crunch, just like our characters, but we took the time to like digest, because we already knew a lot about the history, like a mastercraft of storytelling. It is very intense how everything just ties back around, and nothing was mentioned offhandedly or without purpose, and everything was important. And it's like, oh my god. I am so sad. I don't want this to be over. I would have loved more. My heart breaks for Dara. Everything about his storyline is sad and depressing, and like he had very few moments of happiness, and like the only time he was really with Nahri happily was in the first book, and that is like the most depressing thing ever to me. And like I cannot. And it's not like I don't want Nahri to be with Ali, or like, and they don't even really end up together at the end. Like, it was the weirdest love triangle that never was, because like they didn't hate each other because they were romantic rivals. They just hated each other because of what they've done to each other and the history. And like, this is so fucking depressing. Like I'm almost upset that Dara was a part of this story at all, but it's like real that some people just have horrible fucking lives because other people are shit. Like, this is so horrible. This is heartbreaking. Like, I love this, but I feel bad recommending this because, like, it was so horrible. Everything was sad and depressing, and it only got worse, and things only started to get, like, minusculely better, and it's like... Okay, there's a moment where Dara is about to die again, and Nahri is like, Dara, I can save you, but I'm not gonna bring you back to life without your permission. And you think that he's gonna be like, no, let me die, but he's like, save me, and you're like, oh my god, thank you, thank God. I think I got that on recording, but I said, thank God that she, like, saved him. And then he's like, I'm gonna leave now, never to return to Daevabad ever again, and I will never see you again, because you can't leave Daevabad and I can't come back. Not okay. I'm not okay. It's not okay. Like, I will never get over this. This is not okay. I'm very sad. Dara! No! No! This is why I didn't want to sit down to record this, because I knew it would just be me being emotional, having no coherent thought other than, like, no, Dara, and, like, I need to save him, but, like, I can't, and he chose this, and he's not happy, and, like... I'm unhappy. The Daevabad Trilogy, I officially gave 5 stars to all 3 of these books, which is amazing. It was a very, very amazing trilogy, and I only recommend it if you're okay being broken. heartbroken by it. I would like to say that I'm no longer afraid of picking up another trilogy for fear it'll hurt me, because this one definitely hurt me, but in a good way. Like, do it again. But okay, I'm gonna go. All right. Okay. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!